Have you ever tried something and it failed? Something didn't go right. It didn't go as you envisioned it, or it didn't go as planned. Maybe it's a relationship, something that you envisioned in a relationship where you said, this is going to be amazing, and then the relationship failed. Maybe it's a project. Maybe it was a business that you wanted to start. Maybe it's a goal that you were trying to reach and you failed. Hi, I'm Wendy Rivera, and this is Hit Save on That, a podcast where we talk about the things that we've learned over the years in our life that apply universally. They're truths that apply to our life, whether you're a business owner or whether you're just looking to improve in your own life and relationships. This podcast dives into some very key elements of relational learning that we specifically have explored and expanded within the realm of the bridal industry. I own 2 bridal boutiques, one in Virginia, one in Greenville. They're multi-million-dollar boutiques, and we have a consulting agency called Do You Speak Bride? And we dive into the truths of love and leadership and the mindsets that go with both of those things and how those things affect every area of our life. So stay tuned today. If it's helpful to you, definitely shoot me a comment or share this with someone that it might be helpful in their life. We're going to talk about what to do when you try something and it fails. So when you have a growth mindset, one of the major elements that affects is your mindset towards failure. Because without trying something new, you will never grow. Without analyzing what you've been through and taking away the positives of what you've learned, then you will never be able to stretch and grow to the next area of your life. People can look at a business and say, why is that so successful? How did they get to that point? How did it grow exponentially like that? How do you find and keep good people that make your business so amazing? Let me tell you, it is a process of trying, failing, learning from the failure, and growing to the next phase. Now, a major mistake, and this is what I want to talk about first, a major mistake that we can make when we fail, either in a project or in a relationship or in a goal that we're trying to reach, is that we focus on the failure itself. If we're focusing on the failure, we're getting more and more accustomed with the feeling of failing as being a part of our identity almost. It feels more and more comfortable to just say, things just don't tend to work out. And you start focusing on the bad things. Somebody who's successful is not blind to the failure. They're not blind to the bad things, nor are they afraid of them, but they will look at it to extract the good, the thing that we need to learn about ourselves. Maybe it's about our way of thinking. Maybe it's about our way of relating. Maybe it's about assumptions that we made along the way. We've got to be humble enough to analyze ourselves to see what we should do differently first, how we can change and grow, not just I tried and failed. I'm going to let that sink into my brain as what will happen when I try. It's different to be accustomed to failure and assume that failure will happen again no matter what you do, and that it's just the way life is. That's different than saying, I'm willing to try as many times as I need to and learn a little bit more each time, a little bit more each time. And the next failure is a different kind of failure. It's one that takes into account the things I learned from the last one. And now I've learned a little bit more. And in my next attempt, I may fail again, but I'm learning as I go. So it's a different kind of failure. So it doesn't feel like the same failure over and over. It feels like a more informed, stronger version of you that maybe failed this time. So it's a different kind of definition of failure. You're not afraid of it. You're actually looking forward to what you will learn as you take the next step or as you engage with the next risk. It's an informed move because you have learned from your failures. But if you just blame everything else around you, if you just excuse yourself in a failure, you're not able to extract what you need to learn, and you'll take the same wrong thoughts, the same patterns, the same assumptions into the next scenario. And you'll just chase the same failure everywhere you go. Failing the same is very different than failing forward each time. Does that make sense? So your mindset towards it defines everything. It's very important that we, one, not be afraid of failure, but that we, two, learn from the failure. I've seen it before, especially in relational dynamics. Someone will be in a relationship, the relationship will fail. And instead of being able to take anything personally away in a strong way from that experience, they just say, that was not the right person. Now, it may very well be true. That was not the right person. But the real question for you is, who are you after that experience? What have you learned? How have you grown? Are you hitting save on the things positively that you're supposed to take away from that? Are you hitting save on the things that you saw maybe early on and didn't acknowledge? I've seen this with also leaving organizations. If people leave the organization and yet they just blame the organization itself for the failure of them being able to stay there any longer, it's just the organization's fault, but they don't understand what was wrong about the organization clearly and what should have been done differently, like what is right. So it's not just what was wrong, but it's what should have been done instead. What was right to do? If we're focusing on what's right to do, then that's what we move away with. And then we can take that and build something different. Does that make sense? Very, very important. If we just leave and go, they were the problem, whether it's a relationship or an organization, they were the problem, then you will just stay in a problem mindset. You will stay in a victim mindset, and you'll just be looking for the next perfect thing. You're looking for the next perfect scenario, the next perfect person, the next perfect organization. Those do not exist. And what tends to happen is then you repeat the same cycle. You're making the same relational mistakes. You find yourself in the same position again, and you haven't moved forward at all because there were no positive takeaways from it. So watch your mindset when it comes to your failures. When I think of Thomas Edison and how many experiments that man ran and was never convinced to stop. You know why? Because little improvements, new things that he learned with that failure of the experiment, new things he learned, so another way he could try it. And then if that failed, okay, that's good to know, but this then didn't fail. This was better. So then we build on that and we take away the good. We leave the things that we're sure do not work. And after over and over and over of trying, he then brings light to the world. That is what you and I can do. Do not think that because things have been a struggle or something quote unquote failed, that it was negative. No. It's positive for a lot of reasons. The first reason it's positive is because you tried. You gave yourself to it. You brought your whole self to the situation. Good job. Now you look and go, this is what I saw. This is what I noticed about my own self in this scenario, in this organization, in relation to this challenge, in relation to this goal. When I'm starting a business, I didn't know XYZ, but then I tried this and that worked really well. This did not work so well. Okay, we'll leave that and we'll move forward. Does that make what didn't work a waste of time? Absolutely not. Do not be discouraged. It was not a waste of time. I have seen so many people stay in a relationship or an organization or a business venture that they're starting. They stay for one reason only. They've put so much time into it already. That's why. They'll say, well, I don't want to end this relationship. I've been dating for 5 years. And that'll just be 5 wasted years then. No, friend. No. It's wasted if you stay and not be able to understand what is strong or what is weak, what is good, what is negative, what is something you should be accepting as okay, and things that you should not settle on or compromise on. You should be an active participant as a full person in the process of a relationship. And it should never be that you stay because of the amount of time you've put in. The amount of time you put in should only speak to you that you don't want to waste another day. Staying in is not redeeming the time that you've already spent. It's just dooming you to continue in a cycle that is damaging or that is not healthy for you to be involved in. That weakens you as a person versus strengthening you. It's not stronger to stay just because of time served. That's not stronger to stay. That's actually the weakest reason to stay. I've seen business owners say, well, we've always done it this way. But they also want something different to happen in their business. If you're not learning from the fact that you've done it this way and it's not working, then you're going to continue in a pointless process. You're choosing to stay in what you are familiar with, but frustrated with. Don't stay with the familiar that's frustrating you. That there's no redeeming quality to that. Don't stay in a situation that is not moving forward and successful just because it's more comfortable for you. That weakens you, and I want to challenge you to not do that. I want you to say, if something is frustrating me, I will change what I am doing. If I don't have control over changing what I'm doing, and I don't have the ability to leave the situation for whatever the reason, then I will change my attitude about it. I will not let that control my attitude then. Now that is being an independent, full person. That's making choices yourself instead of deciding to be a victim or choosing to just stay in a victim mindset. Failure of something is helpful when you learn from it. So when you see something wrong in the relationship, speak up. When you see something wrong in an organization, speak up. When you see something wrong in the business you're trying to start, change it. The faster you can pivot, the better for all of the above. If something is stopping you from being able to change it in the relationship, if someone else refuses to have the dynamic change, they refuse to grow, and you're trying to grow, it is no longer a good fit. You've actually grown past that person. Very important to note. Same with an organization. If you're speaking up and they say, you're the problem for speaking up, you're not allowed to speak up, be quiet. You need to know danger. That is danger. You need to free yourself from that situation as soon as possible, or you have surrendered a major part of your personhood. If you don't have the option to leave that situation, change your mindset towards it and know that it's for a certain period of time. Set a time limit on it in your mind and start actively working to find the ways to be free. If you've started a business, it is your responsibility to learn from the things that didn't work. When we first opened Ava Loren Brides in Virginia, it was just me and some volunteer friends that would help at different points. My husband was in there with me as well. My dear friend, Amy, she was my assistant with Brides, and she did an amazing job in that first year. We had so many funny things that happened, but I remember sitting down with our friends after our very first year of business. And we had done 22 fashion shows, and every other month we had done parties for our brides. And at the end of that year, we sat down to look at it and go, okay, which ones were worth doing? Which fashion shows that we were a part of? Which bridal shows that we were a part of? Which ones brought actually a return on our investment? We had to try everything that first year because we didn't know what would be the most helpful. And so then we were able to pinpoint this one, and this one. So we're not going to do these others next year. Do we then look at that first year and go, what a waste of time those first fashion shows were. I wish we'd have never done that. That was so ignorant of us, and I'm so frustrated that it took our time. No, we can't dwell on that type of a thing. It was helpful to do them. Why? We learned. There was so much that we learned in the doing of it. So don't shy away from doing for fear of failing, because doing may have wonderful learning failure in it. But if you don't do, you'll never learn from the failures. And if you take action, if you do and you fail, learn the positives. Take the positives, leave the negative, move forward with strength to the next do and fail and learn, and the next. And then failure is not at all negative. It is just an educational experience. It just teaches you what to try next. And you don't ever have to repeat that cycle again if you've learned from it. Remember, it's not just, it needs to be just another situation. Edison, when he tried an experiment and it was not working, he didn't say, let me move to the living room and try it again. He changed what he was doing in the experiment. The same should be true of us in relationship, in organizations, in businesses that we start. It's not just, well, I'm going to stay the same. I'm going to keep the experiment the same. I'm going to keep my processes the same. And I'm just going to move to another room. I'm just going to move to another person. I'm just going to move to another organization. I'll just start another business, but do it in the same way. Or I'll hire the same kind of person, but just do it in the same way. Or I'll just hire a whole new team, but I'm going to stay the same. We must learn We must morph. I was interviewing someone for a management position one time, and I was explaining something that I had failed in as the owner not too long before this conversation with this person. And I told them, I was like, and so I did XYZ, and this was my heart behind it. But I'll tell you what I learned, and I put that out there. And the manager smiled and says, can I just tell you, I love hearing you say, I learned. That's so refreshing, because many times people above will blame the people below them and not take responsibility and learn. And that's sad. Isn't that sad? Because everything rises and falls on leadership. We have to be able to learn ourselves. We have to be able to see what's right and wrong, make very difficult calls. Maybe you hired somebody, thought they were going to be great, and they are not working out. It's on you to make the change. You have to create and protect the culture. You have to learn from that interaction too. Man, I missed this in this hiring process. I'm going to add this to our process and see if I can do that better next time. It's not going to be perfect. Anything we try is not going to be perfect. But isn't that beautiful? If it was perfect first time out, there would be no room to grow. There would be no purpose to stretch again. There would be no synapses happening in our brain of how to get better and better and better and improve in our life and see the growth and improvement and celebrate it. Don't focus internally in a negative way. Do not let the voice in your head tell you, well, that's just further proof that I'm going to fail. It's just further proof that people out there are just bad. I've heard girls say before, there just aren't any good guys anymore. Well, that's not true. And if you're not growing after difficult experiences, then you're just going to repeat it. And I've seen this with leaving organizations as well. You just blame over here, just not be able to locate what was wrong and what was right and focus on how to build what was right in your next thing, but also learning, why did I allow myself to engage in XYZ? What was it about me that was blocking my vision? Okay, why did it take me so long? Maybe it's that question. Okay, so now I'm going to learn. So the next time I face this situation, I will keep this experience with me in a positive way, not to hold on to the negative, to hold on to the positive so I can apply it to the next organization that I go to and be aware faster and bring myself to it in a different way to hopefully affect a change in this new dynamic in a better way, in ways that I wish I would have before, right? And again, you're not looking at it and beating yourself up. You're looking at it to learn and glean and grow and then be better. Growth is great. It's great. And there is no growth without failure. You fail. Great. Because you're growing. Great. And that's worth doing. So hit save on it. Don't let your failures define you in your mind that you are a failure. Don't let it become an identity. Be the person that is trying so much, so many times, and learning each time and growing each time, that failing doesn't feel negative. It feels informative. If it's informative, it's positive because it's a part of your education in life. Now you are stronger. Now you are more empowered. Now you can accomplish more. Now you can bring light to the world when no one else was willing to fail that many times to achieve light. That's worth it. And it's possible. So let's do it. Let's embrace risk and run towards it and know for sure that we're going to fail and that we're going to learn and that we're going to grow and that we're going to achieve something that no one else thought was possible because we attempted great things. And that's always worth it. All right, hit save on that. Hopefully that's helpful. If you failed recently, don't be discouraged. That means you're going to step forward if you know the positives to take from it. If you change and grow, you will be stronger. So good job. Let's go do it.